Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to another turkey pattern test video here. We've got a beautiful day, and as you can probably hear, there's a lot of birds chirping in the background. Apologize, there's nothing I can do about it. We're working with what we've got today. But as for this video, we're bringing back out the Mossberg 500 410 turkey with the Carlsons heavyweight TSS. It's a 385 constriction choke. And for the load that we're going to be testing out of it, I've brought back out the Herter's 410 TSS loads. They are a 3-inch, 3/4 ounce of number 9 payload, going down range at 1100 feet per second. Now these Herter shells are definitely a budget load. I think they're $32 or $34 or something like that, right off the shelf at Cabela's. But they have really punched above their weight class in pretty much everything we've tested them through. They are really an overlooked load for what they are, both in the 410 and the 12 gauge that we've tested so far. And I've heard good results out of the 20 gauge as well, but I don't have a 20 gauge at the moment to test the 20 gauge variant out of. But they shot very well. If you have not seen that video, I'll leave a link above here. But if you've not seen the video where we tested these Herter's 410 shells out of this Mossberg 500, we shot them through the stock 380 extra full that came in the gun, as well as a Winchester 391 constriction full choke. They performed great in both setups out of this gun. So I'm really curious to see what this 385 constriction Carlsons will do with these Herter's TSS loads. I expect to see some pretty good results, but will they be better or worse than the stock extra full choke? I don't know. I'm really excited to see what they can do. But as per usual, the turkey target is set up right over here at 40 yards away from the bench. So let's head over there and put these Herter's TSS loads through this Carlson's 385 heavyweight choke and see what they can do on the paper. I'm really excited to see what they can perform like out of this setup. Alright, we're all set up back at the bench at 40 yards with the Herter's TSS loads, 3/4 ounce of 9s. So let's run them through this new Carlson's 385 heavyweight TSS choke and see what they can do down there on the target. Alright y'all, well, I think this Herter stuff proved its worth again. Now yes, we might have been just a touch to the left here, but as you can see, that's pretty good there for a 410 at 40 yards. This Herter stuff just seems to shoot out of my particular 410 especially, but out of everything I've tested it through, it has definitely performed, and sometimes noticeably better than some of your much more expensive loads. So yes, we do see a couple of flyers around the edge here and there, but that is something that we've seen out of all of these Herter's tests that we've done so far, is a couple of flyers and just a little bit more open around some of the edges here and there. But a turkey is not going to walk through that at 40 yards. Not at all. That is pretty impressive for a really budget TSS off the shelf, big box store brand TSS load. That will outperform anything else on the shelf at Cabela's. I can almost guarantee you. If it's a 410 TSS load, the Federals, the Brownings, the Remingtons, they're no match for this Herter stuff. This Herter stuff just seems to shoot and keep impressing us, really no matter what setup we run it in. I would not be scared to take that out in the woods in the slightest. That is absolutely a dead turkey, no matter what way you look at it. And this Herter stuff just seems to impress. For what it is, at that price, it's hard to beat it. Now yes, there are some nice fancy hand-loaded stuff from big expensive companies that will shoot better than this. But for $32 or $34 or whatever those are, it's hard to argue with this kind of performance for an off-the-shelf load like that that's mass-produced. That is hard to beat, in my opinion, for what it is. But either way, I am very pleased with how that performed. I can't really knock it for a whole lot of anything. Maybe a couple of these flyers here and there, but I can't really say a whole lot to argue with that performance at all. That's pretty good in my book. All right, y'all, so what do you think? I'm impressed with that Herter stuff yet again. For a budget big box store load like that, you can't argue with the performance that we've gotten out of it so far. Through pretty much any of our setups, it has performed great. But something about that Mossberg 500 and this Herter shell just works together. All three of the chokes I've tested it through out of that gun so far have performed fantastic. Even the stock extra full turkey choke that came with the gun shot that shell fantastic as well. So it's hard to argue when you get reliable performance like that out of a shell like that, a budget big box store load. So if you're looking for some 410 TSS and you don't have 60, 70, 80 plus dollars to spend on some of these boxes of big fancy hand loaded stuff, don't overlook these Herter's 410 loads. Go up to Cabela's and pick you up a box or two of them and test them out of your gun. Odds are, from what I've seen so far, they will most likely perform very well. And even in the 12 gauge that we've tested, they are definitely cheaper than most all of your other TSS loads, and they perform just as good or better than a lot of them out there. So don't overlook these Herter shells when you see them on your local store shelf. So drop me a comment, let me know what you think about it. Is that a shell that you would use because it is a budget load, or is it a shell that you would use because it performs better than what you are using now? Leave me a comment. I love reading through them. But with that being said, I've got a few more pattern tests to film while I'm out here today and the sun's shining. So I'm going to get back to it. So on that note, I'll see y'all in the next one.